Hello everybody, welcome back to another Roblox Lua scripting video. And today, due to the high gas prices and inflation, I'd like to commemorate this video to gas stations. So today I got something quite unique you guys can use to implement into your games if you like to make a vehicle type of game or racing or anything that consists of a gas pump, basically. Alright, so this one, there's a lot of things, not a lot of things, I just have a couple things to explain. But it's very straightforward, and I'll show you a quick demo right now before I get to explaining. Alright, so I'm right here. I got my cash, $1,000. You need $1,000 nowadays, so actually, okay. So I have two gas pumps here. Each gas pumps, I set it up so you can actually have a unique gas price rate for each gas pump. But if you don't want it, you can just set them to the same thing. Anyway, so yeah, here's my car. That is whoa, that is extremely loud. Alright, I'm never driving that car again. Alright, so I go here to gas pump, so I go like that. Boom, you get this really cool UI, and right off the bat you're probably seeing Pokey. That looks quite similar to the one in Liberty County, which it is. The inspiration for this video, for this gas pump in particular, is the Liberty County's version of it. It's very similar. Actually, it's really similar, but there's current fuel, maximum capacity, price. So current fuel is the current fuel of the car. Maximum capacity is the max fuel the car can hold. The price rate is the gas pump's rate, which is, you can set it to a different one for each gas pump if you'd like to. I set it up that way. And here's a really cool thing. So click and hold to pump the gas. So here's a calculated price for based on the rate and how much fuel is being added. And here's a bar that will show it. So if I hold it, it goes like that. So I added $3 worth of gas. So that's about just a gallon of, yeah, just a gallon and over. But if I do keep going, so that's what I added 1.5 gallons. It costs $5.63. So just fill it up all the way. There you go, 14 gallons, so it's all the way to the max, 3.75. If you do the math, it should be around, or it should be $15. It counts for any offsets or extra charges that might occur in the code that I written. But anyways, yeah, so you can do cancel or purchase. If you cancel, it resets everything. If you purchase, it takes away the money. And now if I go again, it should be 14, because obviously I just filled up the gas. You can't click it, so I can cancel. However, if I come here, this one is $5 per gallon, so that's pretty expensive. But anyways, it'll work the same way. But yeah, so let me explain to you how it works. It's really straightforward. It's pretty cool actually. So I do need to keep point a couple things. This car is a free model. It's just for example purposes. I do need to explain to you guys because I've never really worked with cars. But this does not include a fuel usage system. Basically, you know how you drive a car, and over time, the more you drive it, the less fuel you have. This does not have it, but there's a lot of tutorials out there that you can implement into have a fuel usage system. It's really straightforward. I give a little quick example here. So these two things are mine that add into this car model. The fuels, you basically need to have this, okay? Basically, yeah, if you have a current car right now, if you want to implement this gas pump thing, have a folder, or just take this literal folder. It's called fuel system, and it should have a thing called current fuel, capacity, the car owner. There has to be a way for the model. The scripts needs to know if a car is owned by a certain player, basically. So there has to be some form of ownership system. Current fuel capacity, so I can set this just for testing purposes, but if you want it back to full tank, just set it like that. But nice. Read me this for to you guys. So this is a simple usage system. Is basically you're gonna have a way to detect when the car is moving. I didn't put anything because there's like various ways to do it, and it could be dependent on the player to you guys and how you guys want to do it. Basically, detect when the car is moving, then inside the function, call the function update gas. This will calculate if the current fuel is less than the capacity, then and when equals false, then it'll decrease the gas gradually every 2 seconds with the rate of 0.2 right here. That's how you do it. I did some key point notes here, how, this is not meant to be a car fueling system. This is a car refueling system for pump gas, gas pumps. It is pivotal that there's a way to know if a car is owned by a certain player. This is a mimic slash inspiration. This is an inspiration. I'm gonna say mimic. Inspiration, a remake of Liberty County's refueling system. There should be a way to distinctly know if a model is a car. That's why I have this thing. So every car you have should have, or any car models you have that can be refueled, basically should have like some type of value. In this case, I suggest you have a boolean value called is a car. So you can just copy these two things inside your car, basically, and of course add your own refueling system accordingly, and all that stuff. Anyways, let's get to the main script. So let's just focus on one gas pump. So it doesn't really matter, you can duplicate this as is. The most important thing and the only script in this singular model gas pump is the one located in object screen in the proximity prompt. You can change this however you want, hold duration 2 seconds, whatever, or F key, E key, whatever you want. The important thing is the gas rate. If they hold the prompt triggered, it will fire client to the player with the gas rate. This can change. This is the the rate 3.75 per gallon. You can adjust that to to every single gas pump, so each gas pump can have a different rate, or you can have it all the same, which would make more sense. In a gas station, they would all have presumably the same gas rate. So you'd set it to just $2, 3.75, $5 all throughout. Anyways, they're all the same thing. They all have the same thing. This one's $5, but you can probably set it to 3.75. I'm just trying to show that you can have different gas rates for each pump if you want to have different gas stations, obviously. Anyways, yeah, so it's firing to the client, and we got all the way here. Everything for you guys, I've done it, so everything is handled in one main singular script for your convenience. All right, so this is really straightforward. Okay, so here's the variables, here's the event. UI folder gets the components. So the components folder basically has the car capacity, current fuel, added fuel, rate per gallon, and is active. Basically, when the player clicks the proximity prompt or activates it, and the UI enables. So this is this script, by the way. So basically, what it does is on client event gets the event, finds the car. So it goes to the workspace, find if a model is a car. That's why it's very important that there has to be a way to distinguish a car from other models. And if it has a fuel system and the car owner the value, so if the player owns the car, basically, it gets all the components and updates all of these value to the current player's car's value. So basically, if you come here, these values will mimic these values, except the added value. The added value is a different thing, which I'll explain in a bit, and is active will go on and off depending if the UI is enabled or not. So this just these values are just like clones of the actual values, and we will be changing this accordingly in the client. And of course, string.format. So basically, this means it rounds it to 2 decimal places. If you want to have 2 decimal places, like 3.000, you change this to 3f. But if you want like 3.00, then it'll be 2f. 3.0 will be 1f, like that. Anyways, so in the UI here, if you just look at it carefully, let me just change it right here. There's these texts. Basically, they are adjusted in these things called they have their own thing. There's current fuel, cap frame, capacity frame, and then price frame. They're all handled right over here. So basically, every time they update, it'll change it. They'll change this text to mimic the text over here to 2 decimal places. So I added text here. You can change it to 1. You can change it as is. All right. Important thing before I forget. Car check. I wrote a little note here. So this is for basically the script. If the player is using the gas pump and they get back into the car, it will disable or hide the gas UI. This is up to you. Basically, I know that every cars have a UI when you drive them, and it gets cloned to the player. Yeah, so you'd put that clone thing here, And the way with this specific car works is it actually has a bunch of components right here. So this thing is being cloned. It actually has a thing called a values folder, which has a bunch of things. I'm using the velocity, not velocity value. Where is it? Values. Oh no, it is the velocity value. Yeah. So every time it moves, this value changes. So that's a way that can detect if the car is moving or not. So if this value changes, so you can do this with your own UI, car UI changes, that means the car is moving. Hide the UI and set as active equals to false. So this just, if the car moves while using the gas pump, it hides the UI. Adjust that to your own car UI accordingly. Anyways, this calculates the player's payment. So this is the part where I explain to you the gas pump system. Really straightforward. The refueling button plays sound. Anyways, these are the variables. Skip parent mouse button down. So if they hold the left click button and they're clicking the UI, coroutine that resume. So this is just sets it so that it actually detects if they're holding down the button, and if they are, if the current fuel value is less than the max value, that means there's room for gas to be added. Add 0.1 and play the pump sound that I added. It's really funky, but yeah, you can change that right here, and add the same exact thing to the added fuel value, which we'll use to calculate the final price. So basically, when I use the station and I have 10 gallons left, and the car can hold up to 14 gallons, and I want to add gas. When I add gas, say I add 1 gallon of gas, the added fuel value would be 1 gallon, because I added 1 gallon from 10 out of the 14 capacity, if that makes sense. Else, so basically just a safety check. If the current value is greater than the max value, so if it goes like 14.1 out of 14 gallons, then it will like round it to the nearest whole number, so actually at the actual proper price. So that fixed that issue. And of course, if the player releases the left click or whatever, it just stops the function. So touching equals false, and I'll clear that out. Anyways, yeah, that's that. And last but not least, to the actual cancel and purchasing. Oh, this updates the text. If I didn't clear that up, this thing and this thing, yeah. So the text is updated through here. So it calculates it. It gets the rate per gallon, so 3.75 times the added fuel value. So let's say I added 1 gallon, 3.75 times 1. Since the rate for gas station it's X per gallon. It's a little math here, but it makes sense, because 3.75, or let's say $5. If the rate was $5 and I added 2 gallons, 5 times 2 will be $10. That will be total price. And if you want to add taxes, you can just add like plus 0.75 or 0.25 cents here if you want to do taxes. I don't know how you do that, but yeah, there you go. And updates the text right here. And purchasing, really straightforward. So this one cancels it. If you player decides to cancel, it resets everything to 0 basically. If the player decides to purchase, check if they have enough cash. You can change your cash to your game's currency over here. If they have enough cash, fire client sets everything back to 0. And if they don't have enough cash, will they attempt to purchase, it will set everything back to 0 and disable and end the current existing UI. But if they do have enough cash, set fire, place the sound, fire server, it'll fire the price and the added fuel value, how much fuel they added. So the price they have to pay and how much fuel they added, and then sets everything back to 0, because that's the whole point. Resets everything back if they either purchase something or cancel something. The only difference is this one is firing an event, and that event actually is here. I get the player, I update their cash, I subtract the price they have to pay. There you go. Adjust this accordingly to your currency. This finds the player's car. Again, it's pivotal that there's a way to distinguish the car owner's value. The car is owned by a player, so that finds that. I find the fuel. I add how much fuel that they bought. So they say they want to add 3 gallons, they'll add 3 gallons. to their car, and just in case if they go over like that max capacity, if they go like 14.5 out of 14, it'll set back to 14. Just a safety check right there. Last but not least is it's like a health GUI basically. It just updates the current fuel value divided by the capacity value, and then it'll change the bar accordingly as you add gas. And I think that's it. Hopefully you guys understood everything. I know I went a little too fast, but it's really, really straightforward to implement into your game. Again, make your own or add your own. There's a lot of tutorials out there. Your car fuel usage system. When a car moves, it decreases gas. Again, I wrote everything you need to know here. That's a little example if you want to do your own. And it's pivotal that you have this folder and this thing into your car models. This distinguishes if a car is if a model is a car, and this has the main components that's being sent to the UI, the main data. Other than that, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.